Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here with John Fitch, and we are doing it live. It is Mixed Martial Mindset. If you're watching this on YouTube, I do want to remind everybody there's so much censorship. I would suggest that you make the free Rockfin account, because about halfway through the broadcast, we're going to be going over there and discussing things that just can no longer be discussed on this channel, although there is a plethora of topics I want to go over with John, from the rounding up of individuals in Australia who are just now contacts, in other words, healthy people being rounded up in Australia, and that's now normalized. We're going to play that clip. We're going to play the protest. Pretty wild, right?
You're overreacting. You're all overreacting.
Yeah, we're overreacting, all right. The protest that you didn't see across the world, and then I'm gonna hit this really quick first, because what you're looking at here is supposedly Will Sommer. He's a terrible person, in my opinion. He is somebody that wants to restrict free speech. He used to follow me because I was pretty hardcore on the Epstein stuff, but as soon as he realized that all my stuff was real and I didn't jump to QAnon nonsense and think that Bill Barr was going to save us, John, all of a sudden I became the enemy when I advocated for free speech. He started getting people deplatformed, okay? Now, what you're looking at are, it's a blend, okay? I would say about half of those people there are probably federal informants or agents. They are literally people that are trying to construct a narrative that essentially, people still believe in QAnon. They're a danger to society. These people are at the JFK underpass in Dallas at Dealey Plaza believing JFK Jr. is going to come back. Now, the other half are the mentally ill people that are so far gone that the psychological operation worked on, and, John, the people who are in direct contact with these federal informants, okay, that are continuing the lie. But you'll see this in the news. I guarantee this is going to be all over.
Oh, yeah, it'll be on everything. Everybody will be talking about this.
Oh, they're still believing it. Oh, poop, poop. But you won't
You're one of those QAnon people.
Yeah, but you won't see the protests across the world.
When's Kennedy coming back?
Yeah, Kennedy's on his way. Didn't you know? It's unbelievable. And then I want to talk about what happened in Wisconsin, but probably not going to give you the hot take that everybody else is going to give you from one side or the other. It is unfortunate that we now have a media narrative basically in this country that will not report the truth and does obfuscate every single thing into a divisive issue or a non-issue. Yeah. All those things are a reality. We haven't talked the Rittenhouse case with John. We'll probably do that as well. But Fitch, before we get started, why don't you tell everybody where they can find everything John Fitch?
Go to johnfitch.net and go to the newsletter page and sign up for the newsletter. I got one going out today at 5:30 on the left coast, so don't miss that. We got some vital techniques on controlling the fight.
And there wasn't a lot of fights this weekend, by the way, but I did watch the UFC day card. It was a really lackluster card. Honestly, it was one of the poorest cards of the year, unfortunately.
No, I forgot that it was a day card, so I wasn't prepared to be looking for it early. And then, I was on social media, but I didn't see anything pop up on my social media. Usually there's a spicy fight or something going on and somebody's tweeting something or somebody is posting something on Instagram. There was nothing. It was kind of ghost town. And then finally I realized the fight was on. I managed to catch, I think, part of the fight before Misha Tate and then Misha's fight.
Hey, like I said, man, totally lackluster card. I was really disappointed in the whole thing. The last two fights, okay, I thought Chiesa did a little bit better than they. I didn't think it was going to be a unanimous decision.
It was a good fight. Never mind, I saw that fight.
Yeah, that was a good fight. But I mean,
the main card, yeah.
There was literally one finish before that, and it was in a woman's fight. It was just a really boring. Actually, Miletich was over. We watched it. Just a la boring. I do want to remind everybody, we are watching this on YouTube, and you should still thumbs up and subscribe if you're just coming over for the first time.
Sure.
Keep me on. You see that little guy over there? That's Jason Burmis. We want the hopes and dreams of other little guys out there to be able to speak freely as I do and you do, whether you understand that right or how important it is or not. But I'll tell you what's not going to censor us. It's this over here on Rockfin. So actually, let's talk a little bit about the censorship. Yeah. Before we even get into This case where I'm going to tell you right now, I don't give a fuck about this guy's political beliefs. I don't care if he says he did it on behalf of the Rittenhouse verdict or one political agenda or any of that stuff. Has no difference to me. Let me tell you what I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about the fact the guy is a multiple felon, a lifelong criminal with a rap sheet all the way.
Never should have been out. Like, we have a revolving door prison system. We have a lot of people who are there who shouldn't be there, and a lot of people who aren't there that really need to be there.
Absolutely. So let's start there. So we have a broken system where a guy like this, who has literally tried to run over the mother of his child and was out on bail for that. Okay? The mother of his listen, guys. Okay? I want to just put it down like this. I cannot imagine a situation in hell where I would subjugate my child to the trauma, no matter what I even thought of the mother or what situation it was, of me running her down and killing her. Like, that is insane, all right? No matter what kind of situation you're going through and it's your kid and blah, blah, blah. Think about this, John. The entire Kenosha incident is also based on a mother of her child calling the police and saying, this man is trying to take my kid.
Yes.
And then when they arrive in a very bad situation,
Or a knife.
he pulls a knife on them after resisting arrest and they shoot him. And the guy is on video in a wheelchair saying he pulled the knife first. It is on video, and somehow we're there. So that's why I want to get to this.
The guy who got shot can't even be believed.
But he also admits,
is the left calling him a racist? He's obviously a member of the KKK.
So let's now talk about, if everybody looked at my thumbnail, this is the guy that just ran down all these people. Again, the guy that should never have been out in the first place, that's obviously extremely mentally ill on top of being a criminal. Now, societally, we have now gone to a place where reality no longer exists, where there is no steps to morality whatsoever, and we've inverted that, okay? When you look at what happened with Rittenhouse, you had a kid who was attacked by multiple people, all of whom, let me say this, all of whom attacked him first, okay? And then he retaliated, and he was made...
And not even that. Why did they attack him? Because he was trying to put out a fire.
Well, the one guy...
Some arsonist set during a riot.
But even before that, that's not even really why they attacked him. They attacked him because the first guy that attacked Rittenhouse was a mentally ill pedophile who, again, should have never been out of jail in the first place, right, John?
5 times. You should never get a third chance.
Third chance?
You need a second chance.
There is no chances, exactly. And we're talking kids 11 and under, John. Okay, so this guy's a 5-time convicted pedophile. Again, he had been released from jail earlier in the week, and he was at the situation not to protest, but because he had been kicked out domestically and not arrested when some woman who had a restraining order against him called the police. So he comes at this thing. He then, on camera, threatens everybody in that situation, including Rittenhouse, an hour plus before. All right? Let's continue because it just gets wilder. Tells them he's going to kill all of them and then was dropping literal N-bombs while he did it. All right? On video. So the reason that everybody else gets involved at that point is because that mentally deranged individual who should have never been on the streets in the first place. But societally, we've decided that catch and release is now a thing. We're just going to continually release criminals. We'll get to that point. He then runs at Rittenhouse and attacks him. And he still doesn't fire until he grabs the barrel of his gun. Now, this is a 17-year-old boy. Let's call him what he was. He was driven there by his mother. He's still not even legally allowed to join the military. He can sign the papers. He can't go. Okay? So we still have a kid who is attacked by a 5-time violent pedophile felon. And then he defends himself there, and then the chaos ensues. I mean, unbelievable. And now you look at this guy who wants to be famous too. On top of everything, you look at the thumbnail here.
They want to make self-defense illegal. They want to make you afraid to defend yourself.
Well, I believe that's part of it, John. But you look at this.
Take the beating. They want you to take the beating.
Well, societally, again, we're going to fix everything by banning words and no more appropriation and taking away all this white guilt and all these narratives. We're going to fix all of society. But the real thing that's wrong with society is so many people are sociopaths. This had nothing to do with the political movement. This guy, again, is a rapper that wanted to be famous on top of all of it. You know, when I show this picture, when I show this picture over here, the second one, where is he? Here he is in the rap video. Oh, it's all about money. It's all about clout. It's all about fame. And we've developed a society where people are extremely self-centered and sociopathic and do not understand that. Their whole day is about, the 5 Instagram posts they make and the 47 selfies they took. And again, what are they going to post? And how much social clout and likes and whatever they get. And how many people watch their stupid fucking Snapchat. That's it. That's all their life is, and TikTok. And meanwhile, we're going to shame people that are out there doing the real deal. Like, listen, not that night. I don't like him there with the gun. But he's a lifeguard. He's a medic. He's trying to help people.
Volunteer.
It is, listen, I never talk religion, but if there is a term for Satanism, it is not a red gentleman with a pitchfork and a tail. It is the inversion of total and complete reality. And let me show you another example of that inversion of total and complete reality here, John. So, it's a good thing that Superman and Wonder Woman got involved for the child's vaccination programs. I think that's a wonderful thing. In fact, if you think it's a wonderful thing over in YouTube world, why don't you thumbs that up? It's just the best thing since breakfast. You know who accompanied this too? Okay, and by the way, this little gentleman, he wants to get vaccinated for a much better tomorrow, the Texas Children's Hospital. Guess who showed up in Texas? Oh, it's our good friend Jill Biden.
Wow.
It's Dr. Jill. You love Dr. Jill, don't you, John?
Man, that's who I want to get my scripts from.
So not only is there a push to let your children know that they're going to be with superheroes if they take the Shotsky and Hutch, and Jill Biden, who, by the way, she functions as much better than Joe Biden right now because she's not constantly shitting herself. See, she could still not poop herself and show up. They'll send Jill, and I understand why. No, you're going to be a superhero, kids. You're the superhero. Yeah, it's the Super Kids mobile clinic. So they've been
postponing these shots and not making them available in certain places.
You know what? Let's not even talk about it because again, I don't want any medical misinformation. We're still on YouTube. When we get to the shot arena, guys.
It's ineffective.
Yeah, listen. As far as we know, Edward Bernays was correct. Alone Together, 2 weeks to stop the spread, safe and effective. It's all real. It's as real as it gets. Hashtag Sesame Street CNN. Okay. Yes. Hashtag CNN Sesame Street. I love Sanjay Gupta. In fact, I'm getting my I love Sanjay Gupta hat sometime in the mail this week. You'll see me sporting it here. I do want to say that we did get a tip from a lady over at the Rockfin, and she was talking about the real Anthony Fauci. Okay. And the Fauchster here has a new book by Robert Kennedy Jr. You're probably not going to hear about. Bill Gates, Big Pharma, and the global war on democracy and public health. I guarantee this one's going right to the top, but you won't hear anything about it like you're not going to hear about the vast majority of the subjects we're going to be talking about on this program. So, one of the other stories I wanted to get out of the way, John, is I think we played the Doshi here. Remember that British medical journal, the BMJ guy, who was the senior editor? Yeah, we can't talk about that here. We talk. It's over on the Rockfin. I've recently played the clip. But this is a big deal, too. This is COVID-19 researcher blows the whistle on data integrity issues in Pfizer's vaccine trial. Now, you recently saw that, I'll just bring it up on, I don't want any medical misinformation out here, John. Right? We don't do that here. No. But they they absolutely did file papers that they want to wait
55 years. Got to wait 55 years to read about the data.
And you still won't read it in 55 years. It's like the JFK thing. You'll never, ever get it.
Keep postponing it.
Absolutely. And maybe now, people will start to understand I was not kidding or messing around. I didn't make a fake website. that Moderna, again, partnered with DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, all right, for therapeutics at the time, because they still didn't make the standard definition of this until this year when we changed the definition, to develop messenger RNA therapeutics. And even better than that, John, there was actually a consortium of collaborators with Moderna for, it's right here, strategic collaborators advancing mRNA research to treat rare diseases and cancer. And remember, Biden has said DARPA is going to fix cancer next. Cancer's next, everybody. And this just happened to be the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Yeah, DARPA, AstraZeneca, no big deal. Merck, no biggie. You know, and it just so happens that they had these drugs ready for pandemics all the way back then. If we can get this to load. This website's been giving me problems lately. I'm going to have to get just a screenshot and start bringing it up that way. What is going on here? I'm very upset about this, John. You know what happens when we do it live and it fails? I cry a little bit on the inside every time. Let's try it right here.
Feds.
Doesn't want to do it. That is so weird. I wonder if they've taken that down now that I've focused on it a lot, because it's pretty ridiculous. It talks about their strategies to fight coronavirus pandemics. But you know what? We're lucky because there are fact checkers, John. Have you seen these new fact checks? Yes.
They do a great job.
Error establishing database connection. Interesting. Yeah, they do an awesome job, and this is the kind of job they're doing. I want to show these next two. This is the kind of job they're doing. Let's bring that into focus. So a 2010 document by the Rockefeller Foundation outlines hypothetical scenarios that differ from COVID-19, fact checkers say. Now, I do want to point out a few things that they got right, John, okay? They happen to get some things like masks right and lockdowns right. Of course, it's not the same exact thing, just like we've talked about Event 201 when the coronavirus came from not China or nature, but nature in South America from pigs, right? It wasn't bats or pangolins, right? Yeah, weird. Yeah. So thank you for the fact check there. Now, although the Daily Mail seems to tell the truth sometimes they also go with it. I just can't believe they're still doing this headline. Now, I'm not weighing in one way or on the Ahmaud Arbery case on what should happen to those guys. I'm not happy they chased him down with a gun, but they're still calling the man a jogger when he was on video stealing from them for weeks.
Yeah.
And he wasn't jogging anywhere. He was running from them because he got caught stealing again and they saw him.
You gotta have to have a little bit of honesty.
Just something.
Right? There's still plenty of nuance and debate around the fact of what happened if he was somebody who was stealing from these places and they confronted him. It's still the same issue.
I just can't
calling him a jogger. He's just out for some exercise.
Yeah, that's not what happened. So that's not reality, but we're in the post-truth world. So I think that we need to realize that post-truth world.
Avid marathoner.
In fact, scientists in this post-truth world, if you haven't seen, John, are mystified as COVID is gone. Let me read you this. Let me read you this first paragraph here.
I did a graph earlier where it was, the medicine we're not supposed to talk about.
Yeah, we can't talk about that. That's in Japan. Yeah, we can't talk about that. But let's just, we can read this, because it's from the Associated Press and their authoritative sources. Ready? COVID-19 is gone. When did you last hear of anyone who has died of COVID-19? Nadeau said. Okay. The mask is to protect my pocket, he said. The police demand bribes, so I lose money if I don't move around with a mask. Sounds like health. And you can continue to read from there. I didn't write it. It just happens to be out there. This is where we're going to get hardcore. We're still not going to move over to YouTube just yet. That we'll be unloading big time when we get over to YouTube.
Rockfin.
Yes, or I'm sorry, when we get off of YouTube and onto Rockfin. Thank you, John. But I do want, now that I think about it, there's one thing I want to play before we play the news clip. Because I think that with that fact check, we have to see this. So what I'm about to play, John, is the very beginning of a thing called Earth 2100, okay? Now, Earth 2100 was a propaganda piece put out, I believe, by ABC News in conjunction with people like Anthony Fauci, John Podesta, Eric Schmidt of Google at the time. He's featured in it. James Woolsey, the ex-head of the CIA, where they basically take a person that's born in 2009 and go all the way to 2100, right? So in other words, like almost 100-year journey. And people are bad. Mm-hmm. We're shitty. We fucking suck. We ruin the planet. Climate change. Well, hold on. And it's all our fault. And they talk about things like biological diseases breaking out because of climate change. And, throughout the whole thing, it's a disaster scenario. Why do I bring it up? Well, wait till you see what they do in the very first 10 seconds to 30 seconds of this program. We're only going to play like the first minute, but I did a full watch along. Let's see what they predicted. It's really weird.
In my life, I've seen New York City under full quarantine, the Midwest overrun, devastated by pests, plague sweep across California, and then what happened next was something none of us saw coming.
So I want to repeat that. Let's just go back the first 10 seconds again. New York City under full quarantine. The only thing that hasn't happened really already in that first 10 seconds is, we move past into, where is it? The masks. They literally is the plagues. Or not the plagues. The masks are in there. The whole families are masked up.
Sweep across California.
I mean, it's right there. That predictive programming is the waves of locusts that are going to encompass now the Midwest sometime in the next few years that I'm sure they'll blame on climate change. And I'm sure it will have nothing to do with DARPA-based GMO bugs that our Defense Department and Bill Gates have been involved in. They've already released the GMO mosquitoes. I'm sure that's not it. So this whole thing, they put people literally the first 10 seconds. Pretty weird, huh?
Or destroy the food supply with locusts, robot locusts.
Well, I mean, they only all right. So let's do it live. It doesn't even have to be robot locusts. Check it out. So it's an old Wired article. I'm going to type in Wired DARPA insects bioweapons. Those are good keywords, right? So there we go. 2018. The U.S. military, whatever, I accept, is hacking insects with virus DNA, raising fears of dangerous new bioweapons. Again, Jason Burmas didn't write this. I read it. That's all. So, again, if locust, it's obviously going to be climate change if it happens, just like it was climate change for the New York City quarantine and the bio.
I think they're prepping for the shift already.
Oh,
prepping
bro.
For the climate change shift.
Again, I know I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but just hear me out for now. We're going to now play this clip of how much basically the Australian government loves their people. They love them. And here you go.
The Australian Defence Force has been called in to help with a growing COVID outbreak among Indigenous Australians in the Northern Territory. Live to Matt Cunningham in Darwin. Matt, there were 9 cases recorded in one community on Saturday. Not a big figure on the face of it, but it's how much bigger this problem could already be in vulnerable communities.
That's right, Tom, and there's a real concern it may have spread beyond just that Katherine area. Those 2 communities that have now gone into hard lockdown are Binjari and Rockhold, communities close to one another on the outskirts of Katherine. That came after those 9 cases were recorded at Binjari on Saturday night. They include a 78-year-old woman who's been flown to the Royal Darwin Hospital, and the Chief Health Officer says she has quite severe disease. Another 8 people taken to the Howard Springs quarantine facility, as well as 38 close contacts. So
let's just stop right there. Whoa, 38 close contacts. Wait, that's the shielding approach. So again, healthy people are being taken out of their homes. We're still not treating anybody with any kind of preventatives that obviously don't work because the UN and the WHO say they don't work. John, let's say it together. They don't work. They don't work.
If you can still get it and spread it, it doesn't work. You're saying, okay, well, it prevents you from suffering from it worse. Well, then it only affects the person who took it or didn't take it. Leave us alone.
No one's leaving us alone. So let's keep going. Because again, what hard lockdown means is you're not allowed to leave your house at all unless the government tells you it's okay to leave your house.
The government's basically flying any person who tests positive and any close contact to a quarantine facility. I asked the Chief Health Officer, Charles Payne, yesterday exactly how bad he expects this outbreak to be. Here's how he responded.
It's a pretty optimistic picture given what we faced, but I don't want to be at all complacent, and our staff and the territory control of the government are very conscious of the potential here.
Total control of the government. You notice how he kind of like waded through that? I mean, that's what this is all about, total control. But, you know, again, the UN loves you.
So we won't let our guard down at all. But I have to say, if you ask me how I'm feeling about it now, I'm feeling quite optimistic. But it only takes another case in the wrong place for us to be chasing after it again.
Oh.
Thank you.
There's a massive operation underway now to try and get as many people tested as possible. Authorities do have concerns, Tom, about a lack of testing in the Katherine area. They have had a positive wastewater test in Katherine East, an area.
So let's talk about that. A positive wastewater test. Remember we talked about that last year when they started testing the College at Oneonta's wastewater. And I said, guys, this is a very, very dangerous. They're testing the sewage now for the illnesses and the viruses and the bad things, so they don't even have to get it.
Shut down the whole block. They just shut down the whole area. Whoops! Hey guys, nobody can leave in this section because we found coronavirus poop.
Yep, or whatever virus they want to say. So let's continue. This is madness, and this is what they're trying to set up here. Make no doubt about it.
Area of that town that includes the Walpuri camp. They've also had some close contacts identified in the communities of Yuendamu in Central Australia and also Borroloola over near the Queensland border. And those concerns that the virus may have spread further than that Katherine area, you can see in the fact that they've implemented a mask mandate for all of the West Arnhem and the Roper Gulf regions. The Chief Minister is clearly concerned about this situation. In fact, on Saturday night, he picked up the phone to the Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, and asked for the federal government's assistance. That's seen the Australian Defence Force rolled in to try and help out with the outbreak that's developing here.
The military.
We're grateful for the support of about 20 ADF personnel as well as Army trucks to assist with the transfer of positive cases and close contact.
They're taking people away in Army trucks that are healthy, everybody. I don't think I can emphasize that enough. Because it's good, because this guy behind a couple flags and who loves the UN and loves Bill Gates, and Bill Gates loves them.
We're in 2021.
It's a great idea.
And we're watching people get like loaded up on trucks
By the military.
by military and hauled away.
Who
And put in the camps.
who
And everybody's like, yeah, this is totally normal.
Support the communities.
All because of a disease, a sickness. 99.
What?
We're doing an assessment today of what extra resources we might need from the feds, and the Prime Minister is ready to help further.
So let's show people right before we go over, and now we can really talk, John. There's certain things we just can't say on. I mean, we're on YouTube, all right. And by the way, we're not going to try to cyberbully anybody. I know a lot of people have been waiting for my Ghislaine Maxwell coverage. I already have the thumbnail, guys. I think tonight I'm going to do a really long Epstein, the Ghislaine gang broadcast. In fact, let's bring that up right now because I have the thumbnail. I didn't want to do it before this, John, because I didn't want to do like 3 hours of a broadcast before, because this one's going to be a long one. I think that people are going to be pretty upset with me if you're a new listener and you think that Donald Trump is the best thing since breakfast. But we've already got the thumbnail. I just got to decide when I'm doing the broadcast. We're going to hit out at a lot of people. You got Prince Andrew, Elon Musk. You got the New York DA over there. There's Trumpsky. There's Spacey. Don't forget Gates, Adnan Khashoggi, of course, Weinstein and Clinton. And there's going to be a lot more. The hits are going to be coming. We're going after everybody. So nobody's going to be safe. It's going to be a big one. Bill Barr. You name it.
Hide your kids.
That's right.
This is coming.
That's right. You know, I don't play that bullshit, man. You know, I heard, I don't know if you saw, but I hosted Jones last week, right? So last Tuesday. Who knows? Maybe I'll be hosting the 4th hour tomorrow. Again, I'm not sure. But, Elon Musk gets a pass there too much. And I got a few digs in on Elon. And I think that now that he had Cernovich on last time and Tim Pool, and they were openly talking about the failures of Trump, I'm just going to go on the I'm going to shit in Donald Trump's mouth for every cowardly act he did for a full hour and lay it all out there for that audience. Because I think they also need to hear that. You know, I give him credit for what he's done, but at the same time, he needs to be, you know, taken into account for all the bullshit. And there was plenty of it. And we covered it here. All right. So these were the protests you didn't see on TV yesterday. The first one is out of Austria in Vienna, where they are.
A couple people got shot, I heard.
You know what? Before I can confirm it, I haven't reported it yet. So, you know, again, I don't want any fake news out there yet, guys. But there were massive protests. They weren't covered. So again, you're not seeing that anywhere at all. Nobody's talking about it. And then in Britain, outside of the Austrian embassy is what you're watching here. So there was country after country. And look at that. You know, all sorts of people, every gender, color. No one's worried about the bullshit. They'll never show you that. They don't want to show you that people have unified against this evil. And with that being said, we are about 30 minutes deep in the broadcast where we're going to talk some truth we can't talk about anywhere else. In fact, I'm going to play some of the Dr. Katz clips from last week, John. I believe it was last Monday after our broadcast that I went down to this library and I took basically a Faucian mouthpiece for the Quad Cities on, and they tried to swipe at me and take my camera, and they don't want a public record of it, and every talking point you've ever imagined, including that the flu disappeared last year, is used. He actually says it. I get him on record telling me the flu left the world. So if you might have a question about whether that's reality, thumbs it up, subscribe, share, come on over. Come on over to
scientific consensus that the flu disappeared.
I mean, again, come on over. Rockfin it up.
You don't believe it, you're a bigot.
We must be. ROKFIN.com to finish up this broadcast with myself and Fitch. Remember, it's only $9.99 a month or $99.99 for the full year. But don't worry. This Rockfin broadcast, along with 99+% of my stuff, is totally free. So, arrivederci you.